What's up? What up? What up? Y'all already know this is Punch Boxer, aka Mr. Moo, Shine himself. Yeah, man. Look, man, I'm just driving, not at home at the moment. And I said, man, let me do a quick live. And first and foremost, I want you to excuse if it breaks. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the highway, in the pathway, whatever y'all want to call it. So, yeah, let's chop it up a little bit. Chop it up a little bit. Little unprofessional here, but man, let's talk about boxing. Let's talk about boxing. Let's talk about our takes as well. You know what I'm saying? Look, everybody got an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. We all got an opinion. Some opinions are valid or more valid than others because what others have done in the sport of boxing or boxing personnels or, when you're in the industry of the sport of boxing, you're probably gonna get more how you say it more exclusive. You may know more information than others because of the relationship that you have built. So there's gonna be some opinion that's gonna be more valid than others. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got an opinion. Everybody got their perspective, their knowledge, their education about the sport of boxing. Even if you're trying to break down fights, predicting fights, um, and things of that nature, man. Smash the like button on your way in. Smash the like button on your way in. But I noticed something about somebody that probably got a valid opinion. Probably got. I'm not even gonna say probably. I think that of course Teddy Atlas been in the game for a while, and he's gonna have his opinion. Is gonna be probably more valid than a guy like Punch Run Boxing or more valid than you and I. Maybe he's gonna get the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he gets the benefit of the doubt because who he has worked with, what network he has worked with, and things of that nature. We're just this is just our hobby. But because this is just our hobby, that doesn't mean that our opinions is probably less than. I think other opinions are just held more. Some people got a more valid opinion, and somebody's just gonna get the benefit of the doubt more than others. That's what it is. It's not necessarily you got a better opinion than I, or I got a more opinion. I got a better opinion than you. It's just there's just certain people that's gonna get the benefit of the doubt. Did just start? Yeah, it just started right now. Just started right now, ladies and gentlemen. Just started right now. Look, it's gonna go down and stuff like that. Um, Again, excuse. But if you rock with me, and we're gonna be chopping it up. Smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like button. Y'all already know it's Punch Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine. El adobo, el sazón, el borracho, el pastor de boxeo. So, of course, shout out to Ryan Garcia. Had media workout today. A couple of days ago, we had Javante Davis having this media workout. One of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. Javante Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Can't wait for April 22nd. Also in the undercard, Gabe Rosado, one of the Iron Mans in the sport of boxing. Might not have the type of career that like one of the greats, but you got to give him credit. He has a respectable career and still fighting and still making money and still making a living out of the sport of boxing. You know, and I think that's why he gets so much respect for it. We got fights coming up, especially these young hungry lions. You know that's ringing bells. Shakur Stevenson just had his fight last week. We're gonna be chopping it about. We're gonna be chopping it about. I think we're being so picky when it comes to a lot of these fighters, and especially in America, we've been highly too toxic, highly too critical. I'm not gonna say that I haven't been highly critical. Of course, you heard me say time and time again, Devin Haney is boring and stuff like that. Yeah, at the end of the day, I never take the skills away from Devin the Dream Haney. When I say that, and I want to clarify myself because I don't want people to be like, "Yo, but Punch, you be saying that Devin Haney is no. What about you, Punch? What about you?" Well, first and foremost, y'all seen me and the Haney's go back and forth. You know that, so there is some type of, you know what I'm saying, some type of energy that we have towards each other. You know, we nitpick each other. You know, we take stabs at one another and things of that nature. Shout out to Bill Haney. Shout out to Dev Haney. But love what both of these guys have done in terms of the business of the sport of boxing, what they have accomplished as being lightweight, lightweight undisputed. I'm not gonna take nothing away from that. All I'm saying is when I say boring, look again. I want to clarify myself. When I say boring about when I say Devin Haney is boring, that's just me, my opinion as a consumer. Yet, this is why I really say this. It's because we have young, hungry, exciting lions in the sport of boxing. And we know, whether they like it or not, whether we like it or not, that every time that Shakur performs, or Devin Haney performs, or Tio performs, or Javante Tan Davis performs, Ryan performs, they're linked to one another. They can't even run away from these type of questions. Just like Ryan Garcia can't run away from his Shakur questions, or Tank questions, or Devin questions. Just like Teofimo Lopez is going to be asked about Devin Haney and Tank and Ryan. Just like Javante Tan Davis is going to be asked about Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney and things. And you understand what I'm trying to say. So when people are confused on, yo, why this guy sells more than this guy, or why does Ryan Garcia and Javante Tan Davis is bigger than the undisputed bout, I gotta tell y'all why. And by me telling y'all this, and by me telling you that, yo, Devin Haney is boring, it's for them to understand that the reason why you're not the biggest fight, yet you should be the biggest fight, the most lucrative fight, the most important fight in the lightweight division, is because you're compared to those guys that's actually entertaining. So they're comparing the performances and the quality of entertainment. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's the reason. So when I be like, hey, yo, Dev, be boring. I mean, you boring. You gotta be more exciting. Gotta be more exciting. It's because you're being compared to them. I asked the question to Shakur Stevenson as well. I used to be on Shakur Stevenson in terms of entertainment value. And the first question, I never spoke to Shakur Stevenson ever before till last Thursday. And the first question I asked was about entertainment. That's my first question, because Shakur Stevenson have checked all the boxes. Shakur Stevenson have checked all the boxes, especially as of late. Shakur Stevenson, nobody can deny his skill set. Nobody could deny his IQ. Nobody could deny his defense, his punch selections, his footwork, his angles, everything in the book. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. Shakur Stevenson, whether you're a fan or not of his, he is probably the most perfect technician in the sport of boxing. Whether you like it or not. If you know boxing, you got an eye for boxing, you know what you're seeing when you look at Shakur Stevenson. Now, the only thing that he needed that he needed to check, the box that he needed to check was power. How is his power going to be increased? Of course, but you don't want to be so critical in these young fighters because they're young. So normally we usually say, let's see when their power grows into their adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Their man strength. That's how we used to analyze a Tank. Oh, well, not a Tank. He always had power, but a Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. You remember they used to be like, oh, Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney is almost like the same type of fighter. You know what I'm saying? The slick fighters and stuff like that don't have enough power. People like to say, well, these guys are the next Floyd Mayweather. Not necessarily pretty boy, but because how they fought like money made, didn't take that type of risk, didn't sit on their punches, didn't implement the type of power, didn't care about the entertainment value. They didn't care about the entertainment value. Rider of the Storm. Dímelo, mi hermano. Saludo, mi gente. Gracias por el super chari, party cake, my friend. Con los 2 pesitos me voy a comprar 2 pesos de plátano ahora mismo, mi hermano. Good looking out, man. Appreciate you, man. Kings of the Commonwealth, one of the members of Punsh Boxing. What's good? Let me take the time to read. Let me wait for the red light. Let me wait for the red light. Let me wait. He said, struggle with insomnia my whole life, but I found the treatment I always needed. Devin Haney fight. Hey, yo, you suffer from sleep paralysis as well? Not even. Man, please. That's the good. That's the best thing. The doctor be like, "Hey, yo, you want some sleeping pills, man? Sleeping pills. I don't put no drugs in my system. It's either herb, either tea, or either Devin Haney fight. The best fight, Devin Haney and Joe Scambosa. Anyway, but Kings of the Commonwealth, you a clown, man. You funny. Raps on Boxing Night is the voice of the UK, London, Scotland. Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez. Rapstar got a bet with Teofimo Lopez Sr. How much was it? $1,000? If Rapstar Boxing wins the bet with Teofimo Lopez Sr., you get $10,000. Hey, yo, hey, it's only June. June 7th is right around the corner. Shit. Rapstar Boxing Night is gonna have like $10,000 in his pocket if Josh Taylor beats Teofimo Lopez, in which I believe that Teofimo Lopez, the former lightweight champion of the world, undisputed champion of the world, will beat the bloody Josh Taylor. But let's keep on talking about this this situation, right? So I just want to clarify, so nobody can be, hey, yo, Punch, you contradicting yourself. You be talking about Devin Haney. Devin Haney got the skills to pay the bills. Devin Haney got his skills. He got a winning style, and that's why he's in the position where he at right now. In the business sense, I believe he's one of the best businessmen in this era, and he got the best businessman in his father that understands the business of boxing. You know what I'm saying? And making it in this industry. Bill Haney has done an incredible job to maneuver his son in boxing and maneuver himself in the business of boxing as well. So you got to give him a lot of credit. Now, Teddy Atlas tweeted out, in paraphrase, I can't do it right now because I'm in the car, but he tweeted basically saying that Shakur Stevenson last fight was, as usual, not entertaining and stuff like that. And I'm saying in my mind, Teddy Atlas. See, that's one thing. I follow Teddy Atlas on Twitter. I follow a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of boxing personnel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that his take is horrible, but there is a pattern with Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas has a habit of hating great or potential great fighters. The only fighters that he don't diss or discredit or disrespect is Loma and Triple G. This guy hates on Canelo, hates on now Shakur, hates on Tio, hates on his dad, hates on Manny Pacquiao, hates on everything hates on Mike Tyson, hates on everything. And I understand why people do listen to Teddy Atlas, especially here in America. It's because there's a couple of things. One of the things is, we know that Teddy Atlas used to work with Customato, right? We understand that Teddy Atlas also worked with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, one of the most recognizable, I'm not even going to say that he's one of the most recognizable fighter, or just recognized, or the most recognized athlete. I believe that Mike Tyson is the most recognized human being in the world. If you just think about who's the most famous human beings, the most recognizable human beings in the world, Mike Tyson is probably the most recognized outside of Mike Tyson. I mean Michael Jackson, he died, or Michael Jordan. Mike Tyson is the most recognizable, beloved athlete in the world, or person, the most recognizable. Now, Teddy Atlas really has underperformed as a trainer, in my opinion. With all the things that he talking, all the knowledge that he has, right? And have been in position to work with one of the best trainers that ever lived in Customato and one of the best fighters that ever lived. Teddy Atlas is an underachiever, yet he knows how to capitalize and keeping Mike Tyson name in his mouth, because he knows that Mike Tyson is his only relevancy. And as much as Mike Tyson is forever relevant, then there's some part of Teddy Atlas that he will be relevant as well. because all he has to do is write a book, talk about Mike Tyson, old stories, and the pulling of the gun or Customado. He's always going to be, people are always going to listen to it because, of course, a lot of people's always intrigued with Mike Tyson and Customado. But if you really look at Teddy Atlas' career, he's really an underachiever in terms of training. Let's not forget that Teddy Atlas was talking, look, the other day, he was talking so much ish about Teofimo Lopez Sr. But if you really look at it, Teofimo Lopez Sr. already have a Trainer of the Year award. He got one. Teddy Atlas, of all the years under his belt, from the amateur circuit to the professional circuit, he only has one Trainer of the Year. He only got one. And let's not forget, you were a student of Customado. You was a puppet to Customado. It's not like you came with your own philosophy. You was a puppet in which Customado kicked your ass out the camp. You know why he kicked your ass out, Teddy Atlas? Because he wouldn't trade you over Mike Tyson. It was easy to replace you because Customado still had Kevin Rooney. It was easy to replace Teddy Atlas. Now, Teddy Atlas, I'm saying like this, yeah. You put him on TV, and the way that he delivers his boxing information to the people, people do like it. People like his aggressiveness and stuff like that. Just like everybody has their delivery when it comes to breaking down the sport of boxing. Like, to be honest, I don't like boring people breaking down boxing to me because I believe that boxing is a very exciting sport. It's a brutal sport, and I'm a person that, even if I go to church, I want the preacher to preach. That the Lord loves you and the Lord loves me, and that energy, I like that energy. So I understand why people do like Teddy Atlas and this energy. He brings good energy, but the energy that he also brings is the hating energy. And the thing is about Teddy Atlas is that he was straight capping during the Shakur Stevenson or during Saturday, because you did not see the fight. See, if you look at his tweets, he was looking at the UFC. He was looking at Fondora's fight. Remember, he said in his tweet that I was paying attention to the UFC. He was talking about the UFC back and forth. He actually really abandoned watching boxing. He actually watches the UFC more. And he was watching. He said that he would tune into the Fondora fight because it will be more exciting. So, looking at his tweet, I understood that this man was not looking at the Shakur Stevenson fight, because there's no way in hell anyone that watched the Shakur Stevenson fight could say that it was a boring fight. Because if you're telling me that Shakur Stevenson versus Yoshino was a boring fight, then you're telling me that knockdowns is boring? You're telling me that sitting down in your punches and hitting some combinations and stuff like that, hitting to the body to the head, stopping an opponent is boring? If that's boring, then I don't even know what you're watching. I don't even know you understand what you're watching. And for a person like Teddy Atlas to actually understand what he's watching, going to say that, oh, he was not entertaining like usual. And then he also tweeted this, and that's when you know that Teddy Atlas hasn't been following boxing. There's guys like Teddy Atlas, Max Kellerman, that used to have all this credit into breaking down boxing. They do not look at boxing anymore. I don't even know why people are so intrigued by their takes. I don't even know why people feel that they're so credible about their takes. Ladies like this, I'm gonna give credit to us, the YTBC, all the boxing. I'm gonna give a shout out, even if you don't agree with my take and I don't agree with yours, and I'm talking about in a general standpoint. I want to give a shout out to everybody in this community, because let's be real, let's be honest. We are the ones that keep boxing alive. We are the one that keeps the conversation of boxing alive. We are the one that brings the interest to the fans, to the hardcores, to the and tell you about you and tell you about the fighters, and educate you about the fighter that's coming up or the fights. We do the job. Yeah, these guys get credit, but they don't. Max Kellerman doesn't watch boxing anymore. You could tell he don't watch boxing anymore. What he has, he's gonna have his little puppets, his little road runners, and ask and tell them that, oh, what's happening in the sport of boxing? Who's gonna come up? Who's this? I could tell the way they talk, and I could tell by the way that Teddy Atlas talk is that he's not paying attention to the sport of boxing. Because You know and I know that he loves his Lomachenko. And I'm not saying that you don't got to respect and love Lomachenko as a fighter, but he's in love. He got a man crush with Lomachenko. Lomachenko does no wrong. Lomachenko is always exciting. Matter of fact, this guy thought that actually Lomachenko beat Teofimo Lopez. That's crazy. And there's gonna be people out there that are gonna be like, "Oh, that's what it is, Punch." No, this is every great fighter. He disses all of them. Teddy Atlas is a bitter, like he's so bitter. He's bitter about something. He's so bitter. That's why he don't even work on ESPN. They had to boot him out. They had to boot him out because this guy doesn't. He devalues everything. Every time he talks, he's devaluing everything that's great. You remember when he said that. Look. I understand there's a lot of people that may not be a fan of Deontay Wilder's skill set, right? He might not have the Tyson Fury, the Alexander Usyk skill set. He might not have the Joy skill set. But one thing that we all know and we could agree is that Teddy Atlas. That Deontay Wilder, he fights. He's a fighter. He might not be your technical boxer, your highly technical boxer. He is not that. He's not but he is a fighter. That's one thing you know. That's when he throws down, he fights. We know that, whether you're a fan of Deontay Wilder or not. This man on national TV, especially at a time when we want the heavyweight division to wake up from its coma, we needed these guys. Especially, we needed Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua because they was actually coming out and looking spectacular and giving us highlight reel and give us that type of excitement. It was captivating the imagination and the emotions of the boxing fans because even with Klitschko and even with Tyson Fury, when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko, everybody was still saying that it was boring and things of that nature. But Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder brought out the excitement in the heavyweight division. Let's be real, let's be honest. This got Teddy Atlas. Finally, we got a heavyweight champion. Goes on national TV and says, Deontay Wilder can't fight. You're telling the whole world in the #1 sports network. Finally, we got something to look at in the heavyweight division. Something to cheer for. Something to say, wow, explosive, damn, freakish power. Ooh. Teddy Atlas to the whole world, this guy can't fight. And when you have a credible voice like that in the sport of boxing and in that type of network, and you're telling the casuals in the whole world, when you're probably one of the, I'm going to say it like this, at that time, Teddy Atlas was probably the most credible boxing voice because he's in a credible network. But once you're telling the world, you're telling the casuals, and I sense this, maybe that's why the casuals didn't jump on Deontay Wilder like that. Because how can you have a network that rarely talks about boxing, rarely educate themselves about boxing, and then you got Teddy Atlas saying that our heavyweight champion of the world can't fight? Then why would anybody want to tune in with Deontay Wilder? See, I'm going to tell you something about this community. This community, what we do is devalue the good. And we got credible opinions like this man. He devalues everything that has the potential to be great, potential to be interesting, potential to be exciting about. And this is why Teddy Atlas had to be booted from ESPN. And I'm going to tell you like this. There is a lot of negativity in the sport of boxing. There's a lot of negativity when people break down fighters. This is why I always say I'm here to preserve the sport of boxing. I'm here to preserve the modern-day warriors, modern-day gladiators. They put their life on the line for pure entertainment. London! What's good, my brother? What's good, my brother? How you doing? I'm driving out here, so I can't be looking at the chat as much. But shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm in the highway, so of course there's gonna be some dead spots. But please smash the like button, and hopefully I could contribute to the channel as well, and contribute to the content. I think that we go overboard collectively. Not only Teddy Atlas, but I think this community has gotten into a trend And because of the subscribers as well and followers of others, even the fans have gotten too comfortable in devaluing everything that's great. It's like, even in this community, let's say when I give credit to certain fighters, if you give credit to a fighter, they automatically want to call you a fanboy. It's almost like people got a hood mentality in this community. Like, they make you feel uncomfortable. There's people out there that want to make you feel uncomfortable when you praise certain fighters. If you don't approve of a fighter, you a hater. If you approve of a fighter, you a fanboy. See, fanboy, that name, fanboy, it gives homo vibes, pájaro vibes, skittle, rainbow, skittle vibes. I don't like that. And I could see in this community, it's almost like the community itself. Like, if you give props to somebody in the hood, or you give props to your neighbor, oh, you on his meat. Oh, man, you sucking his meat. Oh, you on his meat. It's like people don't like when people give credit to others in boxing. So this community becomes a negative narrative cesspool. The more I could devalue and the more I could disrespect, even if it's disrespecting is entertaining, it's what people like to listen to and what people like to see. Even when we break down fights, even when we break down great fights, great potential fights, let's talk about that. Like for example, Earl the True Spence and Bud Crawford. Is there any reason for us to take away from what they have done? Is there any reason why we have to say, well, Bud Crawford has the weakest undisputed run? Do we have to go down that route? Do we have to take away from him? Now, you may say, well, Bud Crawford is not my favorite style. He's not my favorite fighter, and things like that, because that's your prerogative, that's your preference. But I'm not gonna take away the skill set. That's like when I talk about, let's say, Devin Haney. I'm like, hey, yo, he got a winning style. He should be the primary fight. He should be the biggest fight in the lightweight division. But, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of boring to me and stuff like that. But I'm not taking nothing away from his right hand, his jab, his skill set, his intellect, nothing. Never. I won't do that until he shows us that, okay, now that could be critique. But it seems like everybody's on this negative narrative cesspool trend. And a guy like Teddy Atlas is the godfather of negative narrative cesspool trend. He's one of the trendsetters to be negative. He's one of the trendsetters to be negative and disrespect and devalue great fighters. Because we could be in a situation where everybody talks about Mike Tyson. He'd be the one to say, well, Mike Tyson really didn't have heart. Mike Tyson really don't got balls when the shit gets going, right? But Deontay Wilder can't fight. So you got one of the most electric fighters, let's say electric heavyweights, the two dynamic punchers that we've seen in recent times, which is, yes, Deontay Wilder and Mike Tyson. I'm talking about punchers, the last great punchers, freakish punchers. Of course, Ray Bull got a punch. Of course, Evander Holyfield had a punch. But I'm talking about freakish power. And those guys will actually tell you about the freakish power that these guys possess. Teddy Atlas will be the one to tell you that these guys can't fight. He got no balls and he got no heart. Right? He would discredit everything that Manny Pacquiao done. He would put that bug in your ear, or that bug in your psyche, that Manny Pacquiao was a dirty fighter. Let's not forget, it was not only Floyd Mayweather saying that he was dirty. It was Teddy Atlas that was putting that to the public, that Manny Pacquiao was dirty. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget that it was Teddy Atlas that was saying, that got the people thinking that Triple G and Canelo Alvarez was full of corruption. Now, look, we cannot neglect. I'm not going to say neglect the corruption in the sport of boxing. But I've watched the Canelo Alvarez and Triple G fight. And the first fight, in my opinion, it could go either way. In the second fight, yeah, you could say it could go either way. But to the point that it's saying that it's robbery and stuff like that, that was Teddy Atlas that set the tone. And that set the tone to many millions of people that watched the fight. And then after the fight, people wouldn't listen because remember, this community wasn't all that. I don't know if this community was all that, but I'm just saying. It was Teddy Atlas that started this corruption run. Everybody piggybacked off Teddy Atlas because at that time, he is the credible voice at the most credible sports network. So think about it. If you're successful like a Teddy Atlas in a big network, you start as a boxing content creator because, of course, you want to succeed in what you do. What you start doing, you mimic what works. Just like in boxing, when people over-marinating fights like a Manny Pacquiao and a Floyd Mayweather, you mimic what actually works. We hate it, but damn, why is Bud not fighting Spence? Because they're trying to mimic what worked in the past. That's why you see a lot of negativity in this community. I'm gonna tell you like this, and y'all know this community because a lot of people here flip-flops. I go from this channel to this channel. Let's be real. Most of the channels that are successful are those that you can link up to being toxic. That you could be like, damn, race baiters. Or you could be like, damn, they just pick that angle. They go after one particular fighter. And there's a market to hate. In boxing, there's a more lucrative market to hate than to show love. I'm gonna say it again. In the sport of boxing, in this community, more of the lucrative market, and I give props to those that break things out unbiasedly, logically, and objectively for the most part. The lucrative market in boxing is to be negative. It's to be highly negative. Smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like button. How can anybody say, if you love boxing and you know boxing, how can anybody say that Shakur Stevenson's last performance was boring? How? You didn't watch the fight. And I understand. At least be honest and say, you know what? I didn't watch the fight. There was too much going on. There was Bam Rodriguez. Remember, if y'all was following the channel when I was doing it live, I was covering the Shakur Stevenson versus Yoshino and the Bam Rodriguez. They was fighting at the same time. And then the Fedora fight was around the same time as well. And then the UFC. Everybody wanted to see Masvidal. Everybody wanted to see the main event as well. It was a highly busy comeback night. So when Teddy Atlas said what he said about Shakur Stevenson, we all understood that Teddy Atlas was not watching the fight. What's good? What's good, Oscar? What's good, man? What's good, everybody in the chat? I'm driving right now, so I'm not looking at the chat. I'm not dialing into the chat. But smash the like button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Come on, show some love. Show some love. We working out here, even when we driving, trying to get this content in. We're the only community. Again, I'm gonna say it again. We're the only community that likes to dial in into, he ain't sold this. How many seats? How many seats was there? He ain't packed the place. Like, is it our business? Like, we ain't getting paid. Like, I don't look at any other sport. I don't look at a Giants game and be like, you know what? You know, it wasn't sold out today. I'm not looking at the Yankee game. I ain't looking at the Yankee game and being like, the Yankees sold, like 7,000 seats. We do it. You know why we do it? Because we want to discredit and devalue fighters for no reason. Can you talk boxing without devaluing another fighter? Can you debate about boxing without, because in this community, and I said it a lot of times, in this community, you win a debate in boxing by devaluing everything about the other fighter that you're debating against. That's not helping boxing. You're trying to find the worst in the fighter, right? Trying to find the worst. Hold on, people. You're trying to find the worst to win a debate. And that's why you hear, well, Bud is the worst undisputed. Devin Haney is the worst undisputed. I mean, Shakur Stevenson is he hasn't. I've read comments today, and I'm like, what community am I in? I thought this was a community of the hardcores. I've read enough comments on tweets that said that Shakur Stevenson he hasn't proved anything. What? He hasn't proved anything? Like, ladies and gentlemen, look, you don't gotta be a fan of certain, but I can understand. Look. I can understand when people be like, another fighter that I support, but I can understand when people be like, you know what, Demetrius Andre resume is not up to par. He really hasn't fought anybody, right? He knows that. I know that. Still, one of my favorite fighters, but I understand that his resume is not up to par. He has not exceeded no matches expectations at all. I hope he gets the opportunity, but he hasn't, right? But when it comes to Shakur Stevenson, you cannot analyze Shakur Stevenson's career, not even with a Demetrius Andre career. You can't say that Shakur Stevenson haven't proved anything. How can't you say that? How about when people be like, well, Teofimo Lopez is a one-hit wonder. How? He beat Richard Comey back-to-back and Lomachenko. How? And he beat the likes of Sando Martin that every time Michael Garcia. How can you say that Deontay Wilder is not there? How can you say that? Oh, he hasn't fought anybody. Well, name me how many somebodies there is in the heavyweight division. How about that? If Deontay Wilder had all this fight, hasn't fought a bunch of nobodies, then you name me the bunch of somebodies. And you let me know what they have accomplished, right? And compared to Deontay Wilder. Teddy Atlas said that he doesn't want to see Shakur Stevenson, that he's asking Shakur Stevenson, just like the likes of Joshua, Canelo, and Fury, he needs to be in the ring with better level of competition. Well, Teddy Atlas, if you knew there was better competition, quote unquote, on the table, guess what, Teddy Atlas? It was actually avoided. Shakur Stevenson was mandated to fight Pitbull Cruz. What happened? What happened to that fight? Pitbull Cruz team, and y'all know that I interviewed the promoter of Pitbull Cruz, Sean Gibbons. Sean Gibbons publicly stated that they was not going to fight Shakur Stevenson, that they're looking to fight in May. They're not going to fight Shakur Stevenson because Shakur Stevenson doesn't bring the entertainment value like Tank and Ryan. Now let's go back to that. Let's go back to even what Sean Gibbons saying. He said, in my interview, go check it out whenever you get the time, I did an interview with Sean Gibbons, and I asked him what's next for Pitbull Cruz and what was the situation with him and Shakur Stevenson. Sean Gibbons, Manny Pacquiao Promotions, stated that we didn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson because he don't bring the entertainment value. Now, when I say to fighters, maybe like, some people will be like, oh man, Punch. But you see, there's a power structure also in the business of boxing that would give you an opportunity because because you don't entertain. So think about it. So even my opinion, or an opinion like that, could really affect a fighter and its opportunity. Sean Gibbons, a guy that break fights, builds fights, sign fighters, match fighters, sign fighters, didn't want to make Shakur Stevenson exciting fighter. Whether people agree or not, that was what they said. That's what he said. So when I asked Shakur Stevenson, is entertainment important? And Shakur Stevenson, if you look at the interview I had with Shakur Stevenson, he answered, yes, entertainment is highly important. Entertainment is very important. I know it's very important. And this is why I say for certain fighters to be entertaining. Because at the end of the day, you're showing this on TV. At the end of the day, you're trying to captivate the imagination of the boxing fans. You want to sell. You want people to view fights. You want sponsorships. So entertaining is very important. It's very important. Whether people like it or not, whether people will be like, yo, it's the sweet science, you know what I'm saying? It's the hit and not get hit. Oh, shit. Bad accident in the highway. But anyway. Now, I understand after the Nakatilia fight, Shakur Stevenson was labeled a not exciting fighter, boring fighter. I also have stated that myself. But just like I'm fair and I break things down unbiasedly, logically, and objectively, after the Nakatilia fight, like I keep on mentioning in my videos in my live, but I don't know if some of the people are new to the channel and stuff like that. When Shakur Stevenson said and tweeted out on the social media platforms, all the social media platforms, that he would not perform the way that he performed versus Nakatilia, he apologized to the boxing fans because he acknowledges that his entertainment value with an opponent like that is unacceptable. That's why he apologized, even though that he don't need to apologize, because at the end of the day, you're still sacrificing your life inside that ring. You know what I'm saying? You won. You don't need to apologize. But Shakur Stevenson was actually genuine because he cares about the boxing fans. He acknowledges that it's unacceptable to fight a level of competition like that when you're like levels above somebody and taking them to a decision and being highly boring. With the type of skill set that he has, he's not meant to be boring. Again, like I always say, the sweet science is never meant to be boring. So I understood. I identified Shakur Stevenson back then as a a potential great fighter, very hard to beat, but a boring fighter. But after the Nakatilia fight, Jamel Herring, stopping Jamel Herring, a credible champion. Shout out to Jamel Herring, a Marine. You know he's tough as nails. And then back to back, that's when he become a 2-division world champion, right? And being an incredible champion like Jamel Herring. And then he beats Oscar Valdez, who was an underdog, versus Miguel Burchell. Miguel Burchell, who was considered the boogeyman and the most dangerous opponent in the super featherweight division. Oscar Valdez took care of him, stopped him, and then Shakur Stevenson hurt Oscar Valdez and took care of him. And he also took care of the guy that there was a lot of people that felt that that Oscar Valdez lost to Gansu Xiao. So he beat Gansu Xiao as well. And then he moves up, and the question is, when a fighter moves up, what is the question? How do we analyze, or what do we expect from certain fighters like a Shakur Stevenson, that his only criticism is his power? Will his power move up? Correct. That's the analysis. That's the breakdown. That's the only box that Shakur Stevenson needed to check. Is his power going to move up? Just like we think, is Teofimo Lopez's power going to move up when he was going to 140? Is Devin Haney's power going to move up when he goes to 140? Is Josh Taylor power going to move up to 147? Is Lomachenko power going to move up to the lightweight? Everybody that moves up and is not this extreme knockout artist, right? We don't say that about Gervonta Tank Davis because he's just known for a knockout artist, right? we analyze and we question if their power is going to move up. Shakur Stevenson used to be labeled boring. Shakur Stevenson, they used to say he don't have no power. Well, he checked those boxes versus a guy, Yoshino, and if you understand the sport of boxing, you know that the Japanese fighters are tough as nails. Tough as nails. I'm gonna tell you like this. You don't see Japanese fighters or their corners throwing the towels. Either the referee stops it, either they get knocked out, because it's very, very hard in that culture. I'm gonna tell you like this, and I did a video about that a couple of years ago about the Japanese culture. They wouldn't die in that ring. They'll take the punishment. They'll take that punishment in their corner, because it's like a symbol of warrior like. In that culture, they don't like to quit. No. Oh man, they look at you a whole different type of way. If you're a fighter and you quit, take quitting seriously. So Yoshino beats Nakatani from pillar to post. But when Lomachenko beats Nakatani from pillar to post, here comes Teddy Atlas and praises Lomachenko and how exciting and devastating he is. Great comeback fight after the loss of Teofimo Lopez. Oh, Teddy Atlas, he marveled over the performance of Lomachenko. Oh, man, he said, what a great performance by Lomachenko. This is why Lomachenko is. Let's not forget, a couple of years ago, he said, I see nobody beaten. Nobody beaten Lomachenko. That's why he loves Lomachenko. I'm going to tell you like this. Look, at least I'm real. Even if I'm a fan of a particular fighter, just because I'm a fan of a particular fighter, I don't put pound for pound. Teofimo Lopez currently right now, he's not on my pound for pound list, right? Now, if he beat Jaceno, he'd be on the pound for pound list. But right now, currently, he's not on the pound for pound list, right? No matter if he's one of my favorite fighters. Canelo Alvarez is not number one on the pound for pound list. He's one of my favorite fighters. I got Naoya Inoue. And then I got Alexander Usyk that's coming at number 2. I don't have Canelo Alvarez number 1. Teddy Atlas is the only soul in boxing that has Lomachenko still on the pound for pound list. And get this, y'all. He has Lomachenko ahead of Devin Haney on the pound for pound list. You listening to me, folks? He has Lomachenko ahead of Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, ahead of Josh Taylor, ahead of Jamel Charlo. He don't even have Jamel Charlo on his pound for pound list, y'all. Teddy Atlas is the only boxing personnel at this point that still has Lomachenko. And you remember in the press conference with Lomachenko and Devin Haney, and Devin Haney had to say that that Lomachenko was still on the pound for pound list over me. Guess who put him over you? Teddy Atlas. This is public information. Y'all go check it out if y'all want. Teddy Atlas still have Lomachenko ahead of Devin Haney on the pound for pound list. Because they don't watch the fights. There's look, you know what I've noticed also? A lot of fighters and a lot of boxing personnel, even coaches, they don't follow the sport. They follow their favorite fighter. You know how many times I talk to boxing personnel? I think, as a matter of fact, this happens actually more than often. There's more boxing personnel that don't know the sport, don't know what's going on, don't know who is who, don't know who's champions, don't know who's coming up. This is the reason, to be honest, I didn't even think that Keith Thurman was capping when he said he don't know Jerome Boots Ennis when he didn't know him. And then many of us were like, come on, Keith, you know who Boots is. Come on. No, I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's a lot of fighters, a lot of coaches, a lot of boxing personnel that don't know fighters. And I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Boxing is a very tribal thing in business as well, as we all know. There's other promotional companies that don't know the other promotional the other promotional companies' fighters. It's like they're in a different sport. It's like they're in a different sport. Yo, I've been in conversation. Yo, I speak to boxing personnel daily. A lot of these coaches and fighters don't even know names of their own contemporaries. Even the top 10, they don't know some of these guys. They're not even well educated within their sport. And this was happening in the sport of boxing. The credible voices that we used to respect, they don't really follow boxing anymore. I know this, and I knew this even before I started my channel, when I seen Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith in 32nd Street, because the studio used to be right across the street from Madison Square Garden, right? And it was in the afternoon, and I said this story before. And Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith was outside of the studio, and I happened to walk, and I'm like, yo, shit, oh, Max Kellerman, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, something about me, I get hyped to talk about boxing with people that know boxing. And there's people that feel the same way, because there is not a lot of, like, you know, like a lot of hardcore boxing fans, even in the community, like where you could really, really just talk real boxing. I'm not talking about these trolls in the YTBC. I'm talking about like real technique, real boxing. That's why I respect my brother, Rapstar Boxing Knowledge. We could chop it up about boxing. I'm gonna say it like this: even when we chopped it up about boxing, our conversation about boxing outside of the panels are 10 times better intrigued. It's almost like, to a degree, we have to I have to downplay my boxing intellect or boxing information, because even if I give some boxing information, you wouldn't understand it. To be honest, I'm being perfectly honest. Sometimes I have to downplay and downgrade my boxing intellect to have conversation with certain people, even in this community. There's certain things that I know in the sport of boxing about your favorite fighter that even if I say it, you'll be like, no, it's not. That's not what it is. You capping. It's almost like in this community, as a hardcore, you have to regress to a casual so you can be understood. It don't matter what I do in the boxing industry, or fighters that I help, or fights that I know, or sparring stories that I know. People going to believe whatever they want to believe. I noticed that. But I remember I ran to Max Kellerman and I said, yo, what you think? Yes, I remember this was the conversation. I said, yo, what you think about Gary Russell Jr.? I feel like he's the evolution of speed and power. This was this was a while ago. I think this was 2015. I believe it was like 2015 or 14. I believe it was one of those years. And I said, yo, and what do you think? This is the conversation. I brought up two names. I said, Gary Russell Jr. is the evolution of speed. What do you think about Gary Russell Jr.? Stephen A. Smith says, this was outside, this was 31st Street and 7th Avenue. He said, I don't know who Gary Russell Jr. is. Max Kellerman said he didn't know who Gary Russell Jr. was. I said, oh. I said, what do you think about Deontay Wilder, yo? The heavyweight division is yo, he's knocking everybody out, blah, blah, blah. He's with Golden Boy Promotions. No, I didn't say that. I said after they responded. He said, nah, I don't know Deontay Wilder. I said, he's with Golden Boy Promotions, yo. He's knocking everybody out. I think this was before 2015. It gotta be like 14 to 2014, I believe so. 2014 or 15, something like that. And I said, wow, these guys don't know nothing about boxing. You guys don't know nothing. And you know what I said? You know how I walked away? I said, oh, y'all guys don't know nothing about boxing. I walked away like that. Man, you guys don't know nothing about boxing. He goes, oh, I don't know these guys. Max, are they any good? But around that time, yeah, it was good, motherfucker. What you talking about? Yeah, around that time. And I noticed that there are certain boxing personnels that has their little shows, or even sports. They have a team. They have a team that does all the education. And as a production team, they present it to guys like Max Kellerman. And then when Max Kellerman has a show on a Thursday, that's They do all the work for him, and that's what he makes his show out of. But it's not that he's doing the education. And that's what Teddy Atlas right now is doing. Teddy Atlas don't pay attention to the sport of boxing like that. He knows boxing technique, and he could break down a fight. He could break down a fight because he's a trainer, but he don't know these fighters. So when he said that Shakur Stevenson is not fighting up to the level, and he's not fighting no one in his level and stuff like that, my man, he just moved up in weight, and he fought the best opposition that at least beat Nakatani, a top 10 lightweight. Pitbull Cruz couldn't fight him. Pitbull Cruz didn't want to fight him. Cepeda didn't want to fight him. And George Kambosos said that he needs a break. Devin Haney is fighting Devin Haney is fighting Lomachenko. Devin Haney is fighting Lomachenko. And Gervonta Tank Davis is fighting Ryan Garcia. Who the hell is the best available opponent, Teddy Atlas? Then you tell me, Teddy, who should Shakur Stevenson have fought this past Saturday? Who? Because if you're gonna be like, well, just wait for them. Well, you want them to wait so then you could criticize them and say that fighters today is inactive? Look at the resume, the last couple fights for Shakur Stevenson. All them opponents are credible. And if you're moving up to a division, you know, and if you look at the landscape and who's available to fight, Macho Rivera couldn't fight, Frank Martin couldn't fight. Who's gonna be fighting? So at least he fought somebody that knocked out a guy that's actually credible, and people have gauged other fighters because of fighting Nakatani. Whether you like Nakatani or not, people have gauged how good is Loma Bag because of Nakatani performance. How well could Teofimo beat Richard Comey because of Nakatani? Right? Lomachenko was great after Nakatani. He was a viable opponent, right? But when it comes to Shakur Stevenson meeting the guy that beat Nakatani, now, he needs to fight somebody in his level. And then he said he's not entertaining. Man, this guy's a pure hater. Teddy Atlas is a pure hater. Un hater. But anyway, folks, we're going to do a short live. You know. Thank you for the people that showed up. Hey, yo, get your merch. Ladies and gentlemen, get your merch. I said, tell them. Jermaine Ortiz. Why? Because that's the only name that you know, right? Jermaine, what is more credible? Jermaine, who did, compared to Yoshino and Jermaine Ortiz, why is Jermaine Ortiz more credible than Yoshino? Y'all acting like Jermaine Ortiz is like in another level than Yoshino at the time that they fought. Like y'all acting like Jermaine Ortiz in another level. Yoshino was a good opponent that was available for Shakur Stevenson. There is no Ryan, no Tank, no Devin, no Loma, no Michel Rivera, no Frank Martin available. So guys, like, why? That's what I mean about this community. The nitpick. Oh, you should have fought Jermaine Ortiz. Y'all ain't throwing highly of Jermaine Ortiz anyway. Like, yo, yeah. Can I go? I'm gonna do some research. How many people have done a segment or a live on Jermaine Ortiz? Because he put up a great fight versus Lomachenko? Pitbull Cruz? Because his highlight of his career is losing to Gervonta Tank Davis? Yo, man, people are, that's what I mean. Nitpicking. He said Jermaine smashes Yoshino. That's what I mean. So y'all gonna discredit Shakur because he didn't fight Jermaine Ortiz? Y'all bugging right now. See, this is what I mean about this community. But anyway, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up. And ladies and gentlemen, to keep us going, man. Another boxing content creator is not gonna tell you, man. We gotta do a better job in supporting one another, man. We gotta do a better job of supporting one another, supporting the channel. Better job in supporting the channel. I think I think, to be honest, I think it's bad enough to need to ask, knowing that this is work, knowing that we take our time to push these content, edit videos, go to these fights and things of that nature, and we need to ask people to smash the like button. You know what I'm saying? Or contribute to the channel, become a member. You know what I'm saying? Give back, because there's certain channels that give a lot. There's a lot of channels, you know what I'm saying, that give a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this for all the channels. If you like a channel, you support the channel, support the channel. Da algo, no sean cheapy también, no sean cheapy. We don't get paid like Stephen A. Smith or Mike Coppinger or Dan Raphael. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Shout out to everybody, man. Have a great night. Love you. God bless, and on to the next one.